All right, FightHype.com here. Mickey Bey, former lightweight champion of the world. Hey, Mickey, man, just what's your favorite Mike Tyson performance of all time?
I think it was most of his early fights when he was hungry. When he won the belt. I like his early fights. I'd say all of his early fights up until he won the belt. And around that period, the young Mike, that was my favorite when he was hungry. So I pretty much, it's hard to pick one.
Right.
But yeah, when he was hungry.
Because they all look alike.
Yeah, they look alike.
He was beating up everyone the same.
Yeah, so I'm trying to think like, man, I like the Larry, but I can't say Larry Holmes, but Larry was, well, I like the performance of all of his young fights when he was hungry.
That's when he was just in upstate New York, knocking everyone out.
Yeah, it's a difference. You know, Tyson fights and feeds off of his hunger.
Right.
If Tyson's not hungry, then he can't bring a good performance to the ring.
Why is that, you think? That style requires a lot of heart?
Yeah, his style and who he is as a person. He got to be one way or the other, you know. Guys like, you know, Roy or Floyd and people like that don't have to be mad or be. Tyson does. You know, if Tyson is too happy, he's not going to really bring that intensity to the ring.
Is that because the styles, them guys more cold, clinical, Tyson
it's
fighting?
that, and it's like his mentality. Like,
right.
You could look at Tyson and tell the time that he was going to come out like a beast.
What made him so great in the ring, Mick?
I think his explosiveness, his speed, he was kind of agile too. To be a heavyweight, I think that's what it was mainly. Did
you have like a favorite move he did or punch he did, something you...
Yeah, that uppercut, one to the body, one to the head. Yeah, that was one that's hard. He made it look easy. I'd say he probably had that almost better than anybody ever. Like, he'd hit you and then come around with the uppercut. That's not easy to do. Like, and Tyson ripped it off, especially to be a heavyweight. He ripped it off kind of fast.
Yeah, that's the Tyson right there.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you recall the first time you watched him and you started saying he don't look like Mike? Was it like or after Holyfield, or when was the first time you watched him you said Mike's slowing down?
It was sometime after that prison stint. Not right after, but somewhere around that. Like, you know, I think it was around that time.
Damn, that's it, man. Because he actually knocked out Bruno and got the belt a second time after prison, right? So maybe not right after.
No, not right after, but some period after that. But he still had some, even like when he clipped Clifford ATN, he had some nice performances between them, but it's like that hunger start leaving slower and slower, and the problems he had out the ring translated to in the ring. You could just see that he had a lot of stuff going on. You could almost look at Tyson and tell how he was going to fight. You could see his demeanor and all of that.
And I just want to ask you a few about Roy too. You got a favorite Roy Jones performance?
Oh man, yeah, even him is hard. He had so many good ones. Dang, let me think. It one have to be James Toney, because that's a crafty fighter and a hard fighter to fight. And I say, what's with the Ruiz, the quiet man Ruiz?
John Ruiz.
John Ruiz. That was a good one at heavyweight. I thought he should have stayed heavyweight then instead of dropping back down and fighting Antonio Tarver. After he put on all that muscle, he lost it after that, lost the weight. But yeah, I think I like those two.
Virgil Hill.
I like him and Reggie Johnson. Him and Virgil Hill, that body shot. I like a lot of his, man, Roy damn near every fight almost. Even some of his later ones. I even like him in Trinidad.
Right.
Because he still showed that he had the speed, and, you know, so Roy, man, almost all of his fights.
Actually, his come up was similar to Mike in terms of the knockouts.
Yeah, it was. And they got brought up kind of on the independent side, like just fighting in the smaller club shows. So, yup, it was pretty much identical.
Was Roy the most talented fighter you ever seen? Just talent?
Yeah, yup. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'd say him. Yeah, Roy. Yeah, I have to put Roy the most, like, actually talented. Yeah, Roy Jones.
And what made Roy special in your eyes, Mick?
His speed, mainly, his reflexes and speed. Because he didn't fight by the book at all. It's no fighter that, I mean, he had his own rules. You couldn't tell Roy, don't put your hand down to your knees and leap in and put your hands behind your back. Roy had to do that to look good. He didn't fight good with his hands up. He put them up every once in a while, but Roy had to really fight like that, like, you know, like the roosters and the, I mean, this dude literally fought like the animals that he watched in his farm. So Roy was different, man, but I think his speed and his reflexes was the main thing that set him apart.
And lastly, Mickey, I know because you know the history of boxing so well, where would you rank Mike and Roy, each of them, in the all-time punchers?
Oh, you said puncher?
Yeah, pound for, I mean, for Roy, we got to say pound for pound, but.
Yeah, I think Roy was the fastest fighter ever. Like, I don't think nobody, because you got to put his weight in the equation. So you could look at guys like Leonard and Mildred Taylor, but they were smaller. So for Roy to be a light heavyweight and a super middleweight, heavyweight, I would say that he was the fastest fighter ever. Like, as far
pound for pound, yeah.
Hand speed, I think pound for pound, he was the fastest fighter. And he did have some pop, so he was one of the hardest punchers. I definitely put Mike up there with, like, maybe not over dudes like Ernie Shavers and your shirt.
Tommy
Hearns was one of the hardest punchers because he was a welterweight at his best and was punching. I mean, come on, he knocked out Duran.
2 rounds.
And, like, nobody ever put Duran to sleep like that.
Well, he went 15 with Hagler.
Yeah,
and took his best Duran. So
yeah. So I think Tyson, I put him up there. I think Foreman, I put him up there with guys like that, with George Foreman and some of the. He definitely one of the hardest punchers ever for sure.
And probably faster than some of them guys too, right?
Oh yeah, he was a lot. Yeah. Roy, I mean, Tyson was probably one of the top few fastest heavyweights, probably up there with Ali. They just do different punches.
Right.
Ali didn't really throw boxing. Ali didn't really throw body punches.
Right.
Ali threw a lot of straight shots, but he threw a lot of combinations and stuff as well and had great movement. Like, Ali had the best movement ever, because any heavyweight that could move 12 rounds, I put him number 1 when it comes to movement. But I put Tyson, he punched more to the body. He threw uppercuts better and threw different combinations. But I say Tyson after Ali, off the top of my head. Even Larry Holmes, I think. Him, Larry Holmes, and Tyson off the top of my head was the fastest heavyweights ever.
Right. Holyfield's speed a little slept on.
He had real good timing too.
Right.
Holyfield was a good boxer. He had a good dance in his legs.
Right.
He had good movement, but yeah, I put Holyfield up there too when it comes to timing and decent speed, but real good timing. He had better timing than Mike.
Right.
Mike was probably faster hand speed wise, but I think that Holyfield could see the target faster and get it off.
Right.
I think he had better timing than Mike.
Damn, Mick, thanks for the
knowledge,
knowledge,
how he beat him, I think. That timing. He kind of killed him with the timing. Mike had speed, but he had the timing.
Well, Evander, luckily, I got to talk to him once. He said with Mike, he said the power came from the legs. So if you saw him coil in the legs, you knew
definitely
make a defensive move.
Yeah,
either smother him or
he got a squat and set.
Right.
You could see him setting up. Yeah, 100%.
Right. So, hey, Mick, thanks for the knowledge, bro.
Well,
we've been bothering you a lot.
Oh, no, we can do this every day. You know, I love it.
Thanks, champ.
Yep, you're welcome.